Right. Welcome, viewers, to our first limited series here at Tales of Witternacht, our D&D 5th edition actual play stream. Tonight we host the premiere of Thick as Thieves, short 3 to 4 episode mini campaign. As always, I'm Silver. I'll be your storyteller this evening, and with me are tonight's players Saga, our
Hello.
new guest player, and Conrad, AJ, and Jeff, returning from the Sybil Spear campaign. Before we begin, I'd like to thank a few groups: Smiteworks for Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice; Sirenscape for our amazing music, ambiance, and sound, which, I could probably turn that on and that would add a little bit here. And Discord for our voice and video services, Wizards of the Coast for D&D 5e, the game we play, and Tales of Witternacht is not directly affiliated with any of these companies other than the use of their products. With that, let us begin tonight's tale. Welcome to Darkheart, the city that stands as a beacon of power and intrigue on the northwestern coast of Bavaria, proudly declaring itself the capital of the Bavarian Confederacy. Nestled between rolling hills and the crashing waves of the Sea of Kings, Darkheart pulses with life, its population of just under 50,000, a tapestry woven from diverse races and species. As you walk through the bustling streets, a symphony of languages fills your ears, reflecting the harmonious yet complex blend of inhabitants. Humans dominate the population at 40%, their presence intermingling with the large number of goblins, merfolk, and orniths, and smaller populations of firehearts, elves, giants, dwarves, and others. Darkheart's thriving economy is fueled by a variety of industries. The city proudly exports its bountiful resources of grain, stone, and sand, and even the vibrant paints and dyes that color the world beyond its borders. Those same paints and dyes giving rise to a network of artisans and artists as artwork flows through the veins of the city, a testament to the creative souls that call it home. Yet beneath this surface of prosperity, a stark dichotomy persists. Darkheart bears witness to a chasm between the wealthy elite and the destitute. The rich revel in opulence, indulging in luxurious goods imported exclusively for their pleasure. Meanwhile, the impoverished endure lives of hardship and despair, their dreams forever stifled by the unrelenting weight of poverty and, in some cases, enslaved servitude. The city's governance paints a picture of corruption. Darkheart's ruling class consists of a cunning oligarchy, composed of rich merchants and nobles who maneuver the strings of power. Lady Valoresque, a beautiful and enigmatic human woman, ascended to leadership after the mysterious demise of her husband. Whispers and rumors surround her, with many believing her to be a mage, although few have ever witnessed her command the arcane arts. In Darkheart, influence is a commodity, and the city's government is often swayed by the highest bidder. Bribery and deception dance through the halls of power, tarnishing the notion of justice and fairness. Among its many facets, Darkheart boasts several prominent features that define its character. Under Lady Valoresque's astute leadership, the city's political influence continues to grow, solidifying its standing as a force to be reckoned with. The echoes of clashing steel and roaring crowds permeate the air as the gladiator arenas offer blood-soaked spectacles that both thrill and horrify. Weaponsmiths in Darkheart are renowned for their mastery, crafting blades that are whispered of in legends. The city's guilds, tightly knit communities of artisans and craftsmen, form the backbone of its industrial district, churning out products that fuel the city's economic engine. Amidst this tapestry of power, religion finds its place as well. Most notably, the Chapel of the Iris stands as a bastion of faith dedicated to the worship of Sephora, the goddess of air, arcana, knowledge, and masons. Its towering spires reach towards the heavens, inviting believers and seekers of solace to find peace within its hallowed halls. As day fades into night, Darkheart reveals another layer of its essence. Shadows stretch long and whispers grow louder as the city breathes with a life of its own. Those who dare venture into its depths may uncover secrets hidden in plain sight, for Darkheart guards its mysteries with a jealous fervor. waiting to be discovered by those who possess the audacity to look beyond its facade. As the cool late summer evening blankets the land, the heavens above reveal a vast expanse of clear skies, sparkling with a tapestry of stars. A gentle breeze carries whispers of the nearby sea, caressing your skin with its subtle touch, as if inviting you to explore the mysteries of the night. You find yourself standing at the outskirts of Darkheart, where the city's vibrancy begins to fade into the quietude of the countryside. Before you lies a small homestead, unassuming and blending seamlessly with the surrounding landscape. Constructed from sturdy adobe, with weathered exterior, bears the marks of time, telling tales of countless seasons gone by. A thatched roof crowns the structure, giving it a nice rustic charm. From the outside, the homestead appears vacant, its shuttered windows concealing the stories within. However, a gentle stream of smoke billows lazily from the chimney, hinting at the presence of life within these humble walls. The thin tendrils of gray dance in the night air, carrying with them the aroma of a crackling hearth and the promise of warmth. As each of you stand there, the night envelops you in a tranquil embrace. The silence is profound, broken only by the distant sounds of nature, the soft rustling of leaves, and the occasional chirping of crickets. The homestead sits in a cocoon of stillness, its solitude undisturbed by any nearby activity. In this serene setting, you feel a sense of detachment from the bustling city behind you. The homestead, with its unassuming presence, invites contemplation and introspection. It serves as a sanctuary from the chaos and machinations of Darkheart, offering respite to weary souls seeking solace and quietude. As the night unfolds, casting a hushed blanket over the land, the homestead stands as a sentinel, guarding its secrets and stories within. It whispers tales of its own, resonating with the echoes of lives lived and dreams woven in the safety of its walls. And although the night may seem undisturbed, the homestead harbors untold narratives awaiting your entry. AJ, please describe Irua as he takes in the sight of this hovel on the edge of the city he calls home.
Yeah, Irua is an Ornith. So he has feathers kind of all about him. He has scale mail on that's kind of covered with little bits of leather to try to cover it up. It's also the scales, some of them are emblazoned with the symbol of Zephora. So he really wants to cover those up as he's kind of coming out to this darker part of town. He has blue tinged feathers. He has kind of a long beak, but he's a little bit more shorter in stature. He's about like 5.5 feet tall. And he just looks around very nervously. It's been a while since he's done anything like this. As he grips the symbol of Zephora around his neck and he tucks it underneath. Walking on in.
All right. Sorry, just checking something that for whatever reason my Twitch is not pulling up the stream. There it is. So, okay. Sorry, just want to make sure we didn't have technical difficulties because, those always happen. But anyway, thank you for that. Jeff, please describe Krellin as he surveys this scene.
Yeah, so Krellin, he's about 5'10", and if you were able to spot him bouncing between shadows, uh, he is a vampire. He's a little less than middle aged, wearing some simple black and mostly black robes with a cloak with his hood up at the moment and some purple eyes staring out from underneath. Carries a quarterstaff, and on his side is a small dagger.
All right. And Krellin, as you view, keep eyes on this safe house that you're familiar with. Watch as this Irua makes his way across to the entrance. What do you do?
Does he notice me?
Are you hiding?
I wouldn't necessarily be hiding, but I'd be a stitch into shadows
Okay.
if there were any. So
All right. What is your stealth modifier?
+7, but I have advantage with my cloak.
We're gonna call it just a passive stealth. That's something I've never done before. We're just gonna do that. So
I was actually
a
thinking about
17,
that.
you kind of stick to the shadows. Um, Irua, are you looking for anybody else, or are you just kind of on a mission?
Just trying to kind of take in everything, eyes darting like back and forth. So trying to keep a good view of everything.
All right, give me a general perception check.
Okay.
And our first roll.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
No pressure.
Oh, there was a 20 there for a second.
It's okay.
He does not notice you.
Would I recognize Irua? Both of us being from Darkheart for a while, or living in Darkheart
How
for a
long
while.
have you been in Darkheart?
I've been
More Krell.
Sorry, yeah.
about 15 years.
Okay. Irua, would you have been active in the criminal scene over the last 15 years in Darkheart?
No.
Okay. So,
Okay.
no, wouldn't
Probably
really
not.
recognize him.
All right. So he'd probably just give a little bit of a look of confusion almost before just continuing on quietly.
Okay, so you're making your way
Yep.
in after
He's
him.
gonna make his
Okay.
way in.
All right. Saga, please describe
s-
Percy as she makes her way to the destination she was directed to.
So, Percy is, for once, trying to be a little bit more low key. She knows that this is a sensitive area, and she doesn't want any untoward attention. So she's just kind of has her cape just kind of slung around her shoulder. She is a about average height elf, dark skin, long dark brown hair. But it's a little hard for her to be low key, and not just because of her purple top hat with goggles on it, but somewhat like flying in her wake are, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different birds. One is a little yellow bird that is currently on her hat. But if you kind of pay attention, you'll see in her vicinity a falcon, a magpie, a long-tailed tit, a common kestrel, and even an owl is somewhat making its way nearby. They're just kind of keeping an eye out, and she's just not really like, she's trying not to seem like she's doing something important. She's just like just a nightly stroll. But it's kind of keeping her eye out for.
Okay. So as you make your way towards this location and are taking in the sights, you notice an Ornith individual go walking into the door of the building that you've been directed towards, and not too far behind, probably about 15, 20 feet, as he makes his way through the door, then he's promptly followed by this purple-eyed, cloaked, dark-skinned individual.
Um, does she see any weapons on them, or just off a first glance?
My staff would be pretty noticeable.
Okay.
So staff would be sticking out. You can give me a perception roll as to how much you'd see as to anything that may be covered up.
Perception.
Look at that. All right, 22. Display your weapons, folks. What's Irua carrying?
Ira just has like this really really nice spear that kind of has like some sort of fabric curled up on it, poking up. But outside of that, it's kind of covered by a large shield.
Anything else other than your staff, Krellin?
That would be visible. There's the dagger that's on his left side,
Mhm.
I'd say you'd be able to
and
spot the dagger as to just that little bit of protrusion it gives to the clothing.
yeah, and besides that, underneath his cloak, he's got a small backpack with a hammer and a crowbar on the side of it. But besides that, nothing noticeable.
Yeah,
Alright.
but overall, Percy, she's nice but simple clothes, just plain shirt, vest, pants, heeled boots, cause she's gotta wear the heels, and purple hat and cape, and kind of little skirt over her pants.
Okay. Does Percy do anything in reaction to seeing these two individuals heading towards the door?
She's just kind of keeping an eye out. She's notes the weapons that she sees, but overall, she kind of already figured that she wasn't going to be the only one here, so.
We'll note that each of you have had this note in hand that you mysteriously received for a good 5 days at this point, traveling from wherever you so happen to have traveled from. I'll leave that up to you. But, journey to Conrad. Please describe Arbor as he hurriedly takes in the sight of this unassuming homestead, as he just received this note fairly recently.
Yes. Arbor is a 6 foot tall Canidae, a dog person. He has the kind of the coloring of a German Shepherd. Um, what you can see, he's wearing a kind of nicer breastplate, segmented. Just kind of normal like leathers, traveling clothes underneath. Nothing too fancy. Does have a very nice shield strapped to his back and a warhammer clipped to his belt. A few other tricks of the trade. Knowing, at least of hearing of this safe house before, Arbor would probably be making his way on the path itself, probably through the brush or trees next to it. And his scarf, long blue scarf, would have been wrapped around under his mouth and nose, so only his eyes would be peeking out from above it.
As the last one arriving, and you just catch a glimpse as you get within sight as Irua passes through, followed shortly by Krellin, and I apologize, Saga, did Percy head towards the door, or is she still waiting?
She's kind of holding back a little bit, waiting for
Okay.
them to get closer before she starts heading that way as well.
Arbor, give me a perception check.
Sure. You need me to do a stealth check as well? I'll take it!
All right.
Yeah.
You clock Percy as you're heading towards the door, watching these two people, and then you do catch sight of Percy. Yeah, if you're attempting to, well, I guess you said you were going just down the main road, following the road. So I would say probably not like overtly stealthing.
She's just
Percy,
kind of
give me a
like
perception.
perception. All right. She's not really hiding. She's just kind of like noting everything before she.
Don't look suspicious.
All right. Arbor, how stealthy are you?
Question, I have a +4 to my stealth.
So you notice Percy a few moments before she notices you coming up. Um, with that 24, Arbor, you don't just see this person, you recognize this person.
Where do I recognize this person from?
You tell me.
Um, uh,
You've
as
seen my
I
face
notice, as I notice her noticing me, uh, will, Arbor will kind of push his way through the bush, step out. Well, look who it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to be impressed that you finally caught up with me?
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but don't expect I'll be letting you leave my sights again anytime soon.
You, you really, oh, you're so funny.
Are you heading to the meeting of sorts?
Well, I'm certainly not heading to the bathhouse. I don't really see where else I would be heading. Um,
Well then,
Lead the
my
way.
dear.
Lead the way.
Oh no, after you. And he will give like a short like quarter bow and kind of gesture towards that house.
She takes lead and heads towards the door.
I'll follow along.
Right, as you all make your way into this little homestead, and each of you in turn, as you step across the threshold of the unassuming homestead, contrast between its modest exterior and its lively interior is quite striking. Warmth of dancing firelight illuminates the space, casting a cozy glow upon the surroundings. Crackling hearth stands as the heart of the room, its flames leaping and flickering with an enchanting dance. The air is infused with the rich and comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee, mingling with the faint scent of wood smoke. Tickles your senses, inviting you deeper into the sanctuary of this humble abode. Every breath seems to carry a hint of tranquility and homeliness, drawing you closer to the source of the enticing scents. Interior is meticulously clean, no trace of dirt or disarray to be found. The furniture, though simple in design, exudes a sense of sturdiness and practicality. The chairs, positioned around the plain wooden dining table, are unadorned, yet comfortable, inviting you to rest your weary bones. Seated in a small armchair near the fire, a middle-aged male halfling comes the focal point of the room. His short, neatly combed black hair matches the well-manicured black mustache that adorns his upper lip. Puffs of smoke rise gracefully from his pipe, intertwining and dissipating into the vacant space above him, a silent performance for his own amusement. He's clad in a well-tailored blue jacket and epitomizes a sense of tidiness and elegance. Yellowish-brown shirt peeks out from beneath the jacket, adding a touch of warmth to his ensemble. His boots rest casually on the small table in front of him, a testament to his relaxed demeanor. A warm and welcoming smile graces the halfling's face as he removes his pipe, extending an invitation to each of you in turn to join him. The room seems still, a sense of comfort and belonging, as if it were a cherished haven from the chaotic world outside. As your eyes survey the interior, you notice no signs of a second story or any other rooms. Space appears self-contained, as if embracing a simplicity that mirrors the halfling's presence. Dining table set with cups and saucers, accompanied by a spread of some simple foods, offering a glimpse of hospitality and the potential for shared conversation. Though you find no evidence of other occupants, halfling's genial demeanor and the warmth of the room make you feel as if you are a long-awaited guest, the focal point of his attention. Within these walls, a sense of tranquility and genuine connection intertwines with the aroma of coffee and the crackling fire, creating an atmosphere that beckons you to savor the present moment and indulge in the company of a potential newfound friend. Looks like everyone's here. Feel free to have a seat.
Having a good evening, sir. And Percy's gonna sit down, and all of her birds are gonna just like take spots like around her. One of the falcon's gonna sit on the back of the chair behind her. Its eyes like right over her shoulder.
What do the rest of you do as you enter?
Krillin, when he walks in, he's gonna slowly lower his hood, revealing a long braid and his pointy ears. And then crawling from behind the hood, there's gonna be a little gray mouse that pops up right next to him. But he'll wait till everyone else is seated and then silently take a seat further from everyone.
Arbor?
Um, Arbor is going to. Arbor is just going to just kind of grunt in response and walk over to whatever seat is available, hop down, and just staring daggers at everyone else at the table.
And Irua.
Irua is gonna sit right next to Arbor then. Just kind of like sitting down, visibly uncomfortable. Just be like, oh, so I guess, kind of, well, here together.
I thought I had told you it was a one-time deal.
No, it was. It's, nice to see you again. It was Arbor, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It is. Whatever.
Have you finally managed to make some friends that you haven't had to track down?
Well, memory serves, all three of you have posters surrounding you in the tavern, so
Fantastic.
Not
We all
yet.
know each other.
The only posters of me would be of my performances.
I don't mind the posters. They give me more jobs.
give me more jobs too.
Well, as much as I'd like to sit around and listen to your banter about for a bit, we do have some business to get down to, so if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I gather a few of you know each other, so introductions not necessary?
Oh, please.
Oh, I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure who they are. I mean, I've seen some posters, but names I don't bother remembering.
Well, on that note, he'll step over to Percy, just kind of like dodging around your birds to try and make it semi-close.
None of them move. They all stay exactly where they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Percy. Adley announces.
I'm sure if any of you have met me, you'd remember.
She is certainly a woman of many talents, whose journey through life has been nothing short of remarkable.
She's just like, kind of just giving everyone like a small smile. Like, pleasant.
Krillin will give like a kind of nod of his head. Pleasure to meet you, Percy.
Irua will
Same to you.
wave a little bit.
The halfling just stays standing behind you, Percy, within view of everybody else, but like deliberately out of your viewpoint as he continues to speak. Percy, born into circumstances far from ordinary, raised in opulence, surrounded by luxury, Percy's world, one of elegance and refinement, yet despite the material wealth, always feeling a weight of living in the shadow of another's provision.
I
Living in a
mean,
household of skilled individuals, congregated to serve and entertain, Percy's natural talents flourished. Gifted with a keen mind and a silver tongue, she's found solace in reciting stories and composing poetry, many of such talents that have been on display through her performances, as she has been so eager to point out to you folks. Seeking to break free and forge her own path, and armed with her creativity and flock of metal birds as he looks around below him, she's embarked on a journey of an independent and traveling bard. Her eloquence and the captivating performances she delivers made her quite renowned throughout the realms. Your resilience and artistic spirit have garnered the attention and respect of those around you and of my employer. Your unique background and talents make you an invaluable member of this team. No doubt that your presence will enrich our endeavor.
always happy to help.
As he steps back in front of you, after kind of just like been framing you as little as he can. He barely rises up above any of you as he's walking behind. And he goes and he reaches out a hand to shake your hand.
She returns it, gives him a firm handshake back.
And he proceeds to go back behind and walks over to Irua. And you catch his eyes as he's moving towards you, and you kind of get that little bit of uneasiness that, what's he going to say? But you pick up some mix of curiosity and some understanding, as if he recognizes the situation that you may be in. Rook, he says with a firm but quiet voice. You've been called here due to your past experience as a thief and your long-standing knowledge of this dreadful city. Tales of your smooth getaways and perfect successes paint you as skilled and accomplished individual worthy of the task ahead. Places a hand on your shoulder. Also know that you would not stand idly by as something of immense power falls into the wrong hands. Your moral compass refuses to be silenced. A sense of justice that compels you to protect the innocent. Your presence here should be a boon to this team.
Ira will just nod silently.
As the halfling moves over to Krellin, giving you a look of mystery and a little bit of intrigue. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Krellin. He begins, his voice carrying a sense of anticipation. Hailing from the mountains of Ishnar, Krellin's journey has been one of perseverance and survival. Born into a family of farmers, Krellin experienced a childhood marked by labor and mistreatment at the hands of his siblings. Weight of their cruelty bore down on him, leaving him seeking solace and escape from his circumstances. It's during a particularly harsh incident, during abuse at their hands, that Krellin found himself alone, chained, trapped under the scorching sun. In a moment of desperation, he turned to prayer, seeking guidance from Noctalis, the Lord of Shadows. But fate intervened that day as a mysterious figure. In a dark cloak, dropped a small pouch, and Krellin, to the young Krellin, and he's a pouch of lockpicks, an unexpected gift that would alter the course of his life. With the aid of those lockpicks, Krellin's innate talent for thievery began to manifest, as you might say, swiftly learning the art of sleight of hand and stealth, honing his skills as he navigated the streets of Bavaria's northern coast. Faced with hunger, homelessness, and the constant threat of capture, Krellin's determination has propelled him forward. Him renowned for his remarkable prowess, working alone and undertaking high-risk jobs that few dared to attempt. Now, with his reputation preceding him, Krellin stands before all of you as a testament to resilience and adaptability, a master of shadows, a survivor, who will make a fine addition to this team.
He just sits there silently. He's got some beef jerky in his hands. He's ripping off little bits and feeding it to his mouse.
As the halfling moves to the last of you. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Arbor. Born and raised in the city-state of Kalmar, Arbor's lineage is steeped in a rich tradition of guardianship and justice. An odd history to bring someone to this location at this time. Just a moment of silence as he lets that sink in before moving on. Arbor's father, a renowned judge, known for unwavering commitment to upholding the law. His mother, lieutenant in the Stodwatch, dedicated to protecting the city-state from harm. Generations, members of Arbor's family have been at the forefront of justice in Kalmar. Commitment to the cause has been passed down through the ages, instilling in Arbor a strong sense of duty and a formidable skill set. Graduating from the prestigious Academy of the Penumbral Blade, a renowned institution training warriors and scholars in the art of combat, Arbor has honed his skills, mastering various weapons and tactics. However, fate dealt a cruel blow to when Arbor's mother was tragically murdered. Despite his mother's dedication to justice, the system failed her, and shattered Arbor's faith in said system. Driven by a deep desire for retribution, Arbor took matters into his own hands and became a bounty hunter, completing his first bounty at the mere age of 18, turning in the head of his mother's killer, marking the beginning of his journey as an efficient bounty hunter known for delivering his targets, dead or alive, based on the intentions of his clients. Through his relentless pursuit of bounties and his encounters with the criminal underworld, Arbor has developed into an individual of immense adaptability, pragmatism, and perceptiveness. His cautious nature and ability to assess and respond to various situations make him a valuable asset in our endeavor. Now that you all know each other, I suppose we should get down to business. Any objections?
None from me.
No.
Well, you've certainly
Sure
done your
did.
research. I'm listening.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Fine. He sits back down in his armchair, his eyes gleaming with excitement and caution, as he begins to lay out the job ahead. Listen carefully, my friends. Begins, voice low, filled with urgency. The task is not for the faint of heart, but the rewards could be immeasurable. Item we seek is the Sealanottle. Ancient weapon, great power, historical significance, once wielded by Jaya the Bloody. Fearsome warrior chieftain from centuries past, it holds immense value and should not remain in the hands of the corrupt Lady Valoresk. Cunning as she is, she has secured the Sealanottle within her vault, deep beneath the very foundation of Sea-Watch Palace. Our objective is quite simple. Infiltrate the palace, breach the vault, retrieve the weapon, escape undetected. But beware, Valoresk's hold on Darkheart is unyielding, and she commands the loyalty of the City Watch. Moment alarms are raised, your chances of escape will diminish significantly. To access the vault treasury chamber, one important element of this will be that you will need to acquire the one and only key. Magical pendant that Valoresk wears around her neck at all times. This pendant not only is the means to unlock the vault, but may possess other unknown magical properties. Extracting it from her will require cunning, precision, and a touch of magic, something that I feel your team should be very adept at taking care of. Our success hinges on careful planning, teamwork, and resourcefulness. We must navigate the palace's intricate layout, evade the watchful eyes of the guards, and overcome the traps and countermeasures designed to protect Valoresk's prized possessions. Slight smile tugs the corners of Hadley's mouth. But fear not, my friends. I have assembled a team of skilled individuals, possess the necessary expertise to overcome these challenges. Together, we will secure the Selenodal and ensure it finds its rightful place in the Far Cloud repository, far from Valoresk's clutches. Pauses for a moment, his gaze lingering on each member of the team, just quietly gauging your commitment to the mission and willingness to work with him. Road ahead will be treacherous, but the prize we seek is worth the risk. You ready to venture into the heart of danger and claim victory against all odds?
What's in it for you?
Is it not enough to know that an object of immense power has been taken from an evil individual and placed in a secure location outside of the clutches of those that might misuse it?
Maybe for some. I find it hard to believe that that's enough for you.
My boss, my employer, has his wills. I just carry them out. This happens to be one of altruism.
I have a question. Can you confirm or deny the rumors that Lady Valoresk wields magic at all?
I can't say that I can confirm, but I would say plan that she does. More often than not, these types of rumors have some kernel of truth to them. If she doesn't practice it, she likely has others that do.
And how can we confirm that you'll give us our payment in full?
Oh, well, you've all been provided with a small token of our esteem in the 100 gold pieces that was provided to you with your invitation to tonight's meeting. You'll be provided with 10% of the payment up front. Once the encounter has been set and you have started your mission, the amount of 500 platinum pieces will be provided to you. At the conclusion of your hopefully successful excursion, the remainder, 4,500 platinum pieces, will be provided to you at that time.
And that's each or total?
Oh, my dear, I'm sorry. No, that is 5,000 platinum for the entire group.
Had to ask.
Fair enough.
So what sort of time frame are we looking at here? When do you want this to happen?
Very good question, my young friend. As you are all aware, the Aether Festival is just a mere 3 days away, during which many different celebrations and events will be going on about the city for roughly 4 days. On the eve, the night the festival begins, Lady Valoresk has decided to hold a night of entertainment at her estate. A masquerade ball of sorts, during which she will be entertaining a number of high-ranking and influential guests, which, in doing my planning to help aid you in this endeavor, I believe this might be a good opportunity to make entrance into the palace and abscond with the weapon. If nothing else, it may also provide an opportunity that someone else might try and relieve her of the item the same night, and expedite the timeline of needing to get to this sooner rather than later.
That does not give us much time.
Sorry, I don't set the timetable, I just deal with the situation. The urgency was part of the reason that you were a bit of a last-minute addition to this team, Mr. Arbor.
It's enough time.
Thanks.
We'll be able to manage.
Feel so reassured.
Oh, you don't think your skills are good enough?
I'm more used to stealing people, things.
And yet you still couldn't return one girl to her mother.
If you're offering.
I'm never going back to that god's forsaken city. Do you have intentions of going back there?
Only if I have you in manacles.
That's not my style. Clashes with the hat.
It seems like we have a little bit of disagreement between the members of this group, and I am fine with taking up the mantle of being a mediator to everyone.
Shut up, Rook. I'm not gonna turn her in until this job is done.
If you can recapture me.
As long as it's happening outside of the parameters of the job we're being given after the festival.
Alright, are we all friends, at least for the moment, that we can move forward with our planning?
Allies.
Indeed.
Alright, if you would all just kindly clear the table, food and such. Here are a few things that might help. Is this a sleight of hand check as to can you tablecloth trick this? Right, as you Prelin works to clear the table. Quite speedily and adeptly. Halfling returns pulls a bag from behind his armchair, sets it up softly on the chair, and pulls out a roll of papers that he proceeds to lay down on the table, and then unfurl them. As they unfurl across the table, you see that there are 3 different pages, and the one on top looks like S. Not sure how many of you are familiar with Sea-Watch Palace, but there is only one way in, one way out. Bridge over across the little inlet of the Sea of Kings, as you can see here, pointing towards the little bridge in the top right corner of the map. Proceeding down that road, and you reach the guard quarters, stables, and the palace proper. Inside the palace, you have the various rooms that are laid out for you there on the map. And just kind of like casually opens up the next 2 pages to show that there's another map on the next page and another map on the next page. Share those as well, and you guys can look at whichever one you want. Those of you that are not familiar with using the Fantasy Ground stuff, you should be able to draw arrows to what you want to, if you want to talk about something in particular. If you want to draw an arrow with your holding the 2 mouse buttons and dragging towards what you want to talk about, that can kind of represent your pointing your finger at the map. As previously mentioned, the treasury vault at the end of the vault here on the 3rd map here, and he's just like slowly rolling the other ones out of the way, can only be opened using Valoresk's key. That'll likely be one of the toughest things you'll have to overcome. It is unique, it is one of a kind, and obtaining it will not be an easy task.
Question. The lava pits? Is that commonplace in most palaces?
I can't say that I've ever been in a palace with lava pits before. It is definitely a bit of an oddity. Lady Valoress certainly seems to like her opulence and uniqueness.
A woman with the flair for the dramatic.
It is probably an understatement. So the stairway up leads to 2 other entry points from the vault, that is. One accessing from the bottom of the guard quarters. The other one accessing from an unknown location elsewhere from within the house. Suspicion has always been that is the odd box-shaped structure on the back of the palace. But no one has ever had eyes on it to know that is for certain.
Are there identities that we'll need for the ball that's being had, and will those be provided for us?
Beyond providing you with the plans and what information I have access to, how you go about carrying this out and obtaining the resources to get you there will be on you. Might be a good use of your platinum pieces. Advance.
I'm sure there will be lots of performers. And probably see if I can talk to some. See if they need an extra.
If it is anything like other gatherings that she has thrown, it is likely that there will be a certain number of performers, a certain number of waiters, waitresses, entertainment of other sorts that may be provided. The lady is not subtle, and the lady likes her entertainment quite well, and quite extravagant, and not necessarily of the most noble of standards.
Trust me, it's been the talk of the taverns among the performers for a while.
I've never been out this way. What's the island look like?
What you see, it's roughly high cliffs leading up around on all edges. There's no way to access it from the water, absent maybe somebody of Rook's flight abilities, or somebody with magical flight abilities could attempt to access other than the bridge. Or if you are feeling athletic, grappling hooks and ropes could be a possibility.
How far is it from here across, up onto the cliff? Across water at the narrow point.
Probably a good 20 feet across, and then a good 15 feet up.
You said the lady always wears the magical pendant. Or at least can be found with it.
Yes. She is. No one has ever seen it without it around her neck. She has it on when she leaves her bedchambers, and she has it on when she returns. It is never taken off while outside of those bedchambers. It is reasonable to assume that she may not necessarily sleep with it on. But I have not been fortunate enough to obtain eyes inside the bedchamber to get any more details as to exactly what she might do with it once she's in there.
How tragic.
I don't particularly want to know the other things that go on inside that bedchamber. Personally, each their own, though.
Well, unless one of you three feel like chatting up the lady, best bet may be at night when she's asleep.
That was my thought as well. Perhaps a secondary operation for the night of the party.
The issue with that is if she never takes it off or she always is wearing it, then there has to be a decoy of sorts for her to put back on, if we were to steal it at night.
Obviously.
But do any of us have a description of it, or a jeweler who could make a replica of a magic item?
Miss Percy, just opining here, but based off your reputation and your skills and your lovely constructs you've brought with you, under the impression this may be something that you might be able to replicate if given enough time to study said object.
That is true. I would need it in my hands, and I would need the materials to do so. Materials won't be much of a problem. But the item, yes. Which means I would only have, the night while we're also stealing the item after we've stolen it to make it. But last minute. Doable, but last minute.
Just throwing out options.
Well, if you're gonna make a copy anyway, why don't you just make a copy for us? Use it ourselves.
I need to see it. And there's also not necessarily a guarantee that I can replicate the magic in it. I don't know how powerful of a magic item it is. Like you said what? It might have other properties than what I know?
Potentially, none of our spies that have been able to get access to views of the inside have ever seen it do anything other than open the doorways. Even that cost a man his life.
Well,
Do we really have to complete this over the course of one single night? Couldn't we endear ourselves towards Lady Valoresk, and then in the morning, after you've forged the decoy, try to sneak it on then?
That is possible.
The folly of this...
How does the amulet in the doors? You just hold it up? Does you insert it in?
Based on our notes, it is that it is inserted in.
We could always, at the party, organize an incident of her being run into. Get it off then.
I mean, that's the oldest trick in the book.
There's a reason
Oh.
it works.
What about the lock? The word on that? We can't get the key, we can change the lock.
The lock to the vault? Normally a vault is a little more complicated than a simple kind of lock. It's normally multiple, because sometimes it has the big tumblers in it. I don't know if we would just be able to replace it.
And if it's a magically infused lock, I'm sure there will be other alarms that will go off if we try to fiddle with it. I think what might be a good idea, Krellin, he's gonna turn to him. You said you're, a known thief and all?
Oh, I could say that. I tend to keep things silent and non-conspicuous.
Brilliant. I do agree. Sneaking in and getting the amulet is obviously one thing we need. Our options currently are sneaking in while she's asleep and stealing it then, but we also don't know what her situation of guards in the night are, if she would have a other person in there with her. The possibilities of guards throughout the manor. But if we were to get it off of her at the party, it would be quicker, but the likelihood of her noticing sooner is there. Yet she's still hosting a party, so that might give her a viable time for distraction rather than coming after us directly, sending guards. But then once again, we would need time to figure out what their patterns of patrol are. How many there are at any given time. Obviously, with the party coming up, there's probably going to be more.
Well, that's something to do before the party.
And that's where I'm hoping Krellin can come in and using those thievery skills of him to get a idea on what we're up against.
Should be able to get in there, no problem. At least check things out beforehand.
Might be good to get eyes on the Valoress as well. You have eyes on what her schedule is for the next couple days.
So a woman like her has a detailed itinerary in her office.
So we need to also infiltrate her office?
Ellen's gonna be poking around anyway.
That's just another small detour.
All right, this would probably be a good opportunity to fill you in on a few rules things on how we're going to do this. So you don't have to flounder too much on trying to make a plan, that you can kind of do it in stages. So obviously it's been set out. You have 3 days to do this. Each of you are going to get 4 actions per day of things that you can do to attempt to do anything of you think might be useful. Some of those things might cost more than 1 action if they're pretty in-depth. If it's going to be something that's going to take like half the day or the full day, then obviously it's going to take up more of your actions. So you each get 12 actions over the course of the 3 days total. Any actions you don't use will divide by 4, round up, as D&D always does. And whatever you have left will get you 1 point during the actual heist once things are engaged that you can call on for an inspiration point to be able to roll inspiration on any roll that goes on through there, as basically being, in hindsight, this is kind of our steal from Blades in the Dark element of this is your flashback. Oh yeah, I really did plan for this moment. But that's going to use up a whole 4 tokens per one, so you don't get a lot. The incentive is try and do the planning on the front end, but then there's going to be those things that you guys may not think of, so you guys can go and fill that part in. So we can go day by day and work through this as to what you guys want to do and how you guys want to go about doing whatever you want to be doing, whether it is acquiring equipment that you don't have, acquiring materials you don't have, scouting territories, trying to make contacts with people that might be able to get you additional information. I'm going to leave it to your own creativity. I'll provide some prodding from Hadley as needed to help you along, but for the most part, I want to see what you guys come up with as your solution to the heist and how to get in there. So I'm going to leave you to your own devices for the most part on that. On that note, unless there's any questions on how that works. Okay. Hearing no questions, Hadley will take his leave unless there's any further questions for him. But he will provide contact information if you do need to reach out to him. Somebody might have a bird that they could send.
Or multiple.
Is one of them a courier pigeon? I don't think so, but
No, there's let me get my list. There's Sacker Falcon, a Eurasian magpie, yellow hammer, long-tailed tit, common kestrel, and a barred owl.
you
I could
definitely
probably
gotta send
send
the
the
long-tailed
common
tit.
kestrel.
I mean, you're gonna choose to put that name in there. You gotta lean on that one. So
Yeah, Quince, the long-tailed tit.
with our short form of our thick as thieves is Tat, so we have Tit for Tat.
Yep.
Well, he's very tiny, so.
All right, if no questions are asked of Hadley, then he will recuse himself for the evening, leaving a note on where you can send messages if you need further information from him or wish to request some sort of assistance from him. So we will. You guys are left to your own devices in this humble little safe house as the night moves on. You almost barely notice that Hadley leaves because you guys are all engrossed in this discussion and back and forth over how do we do this, how do we do that, who's going to do this, when are we going to do that. And the night wears on into the wee hours as you continue your planning, knowing that you are up against a certain time crunch. Do you all, as you start to realize how late it has gotten and that you may be in need of a rest, do you all choose to stay in this house or retire to your individual dwelling places within the city of Darkheart?
Percy would probably leave and go back to whatever room she's renting.
Krellin's dwelling is whichever safe house he happens to be at the time, so yeah, he's probably gonna stay the night here or morning.
Arbor would probably head back to the bar he was staying at.
Okay.
In fact, he might even try and anyone is still up. Do something else at night before goes to bed.
Some pre-crime crime.
No, he's gonna go rat everybody out to Lady Valoresque and collect the bounty.
Would the chapel have its own rooms for like the clerics, or would it be separate housing?
I mean, it's separate housing, but it's there. I mean, on site, so
Okay.
it just wouldn't be part of the chapel proper.
Perfect. Yeah, I will go back home. But we'll kind of check in with everybody before and just say, so are we meeting tomorrow, or what is the plan?
Well, I'll be here throughout the day, and I'll be going out tonight to do some recon, I suppose you could call it. I'll also see if I can gather any unique equipment we may need.
I will be conversing with my fellow entertainers, seeing if I can get any information from them as well, and possibly if you need any extra assistance. I'll always try to find a tavern to perform in at night, so. And she'll probably give a name of a tavern that she goes to a lot. What was it called? The Knight's Rose. That one's brings a good patronage.
Oh, I'm gonna see if I can get my paws on a guard schedule and postings.
Also, if there's an understanding that we're going to be possibly seeming to attend the ball, entertain as entertainers, guests, or servants, I can acquire us costumes. So that one shouldn't be a worry.
Well, that should work as well. For me, depending how big this water really is, in the darkness I can make it across without issue. So, invite may not be necessary for me. We'll know more about that tonight.
Understood.
I have access to the stables on the outskirts of town, and I know that it wouldn't work well for us to leave on horseback, but maybe we can set up a decoy to draw some attention at least while we make our true escape.
Detours
Wait,
a
we
good
can get
idea.
out by boat. Make it down the cliffs.
Or to even throw them off. I'm sure I could find a nice hiding place somewhere even close. They would never see that. Just dip off out an alley real nearby, find a place to lie low, send the decoy off the other direction.
An idea. If we were to, those of us coming in as possible guests in a carriage, could then at the end of the night, our decoy could put a drunken lord in the carriage and send it on its way while we make our escape. I could.
You happen to have a drunken lord on hand?
Or carriage.
Oh, I can find one. Oh, drunken lord is easy enough to find. Carriage, I'm sure there'll be enough there.
Look, didn't you say you get horses? Carriage too?
Yes, if we need to sneak in any sort of equipment, I suppose we could probably try to stick it on to the carriage. I'm not sure how security works for the ball.
I'll try to find that out too.
They're not thoroughly searching the carriages. I'm sure we will be able to find a few hiding spots for whatever we may need. Specialized equipment, if there's anything you guys need, I'll see what I can do.
Understood.
This town is horribly corrupt. If it comes down to it, we could probably just pay them off.
I mean,
That's-
ideally, we have other uses for the money. But if need be.
it's
Though,
always an option.
though it'll be hard to counter the lady's coin.
Anyone know what this weapon thing even does? If our hands on it, we could maybe use it.
The weapon.
Yes.
Have any of us heard of this weapon before? This artifact?
History check. But only if you have proficiency in history.
Oh yeah, no, it wouldn't matter anyways. Not with that.
We're talking about centuries old information.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not playing Yorfer here. He doesn't have the history.
anybody else with history or just Percy? Take that as a just Percy.
We don't have smart folks.
All right,
Have
so
a particular set of skills.
Yes.
yes, leave decent. With a 12, vast numbers of books and just your general studies that you were able to accomplish growing up in the environment you grew up in. There was lots of stories of different artifacts, magical items of import throughout history. This one in particular sounds familiar, but that may just be because of its being in the similar language, being in Celestial, which most of those names are all written in Celestial. So
Does it
you
help
don't really know it.
that Percy does speak Celestial?
You would
that-
know what it means,
Okay.
which is Soul Needle. So any of you that know Celestial would be able to translate as being Soul Needle. Regardless of the history, just Percy be the only one that has any vague knowledge of what this thing is, and that's very, very vague at a 12.
Well, I'm not one for history, but I sure hope it's sharp with a name like Soul Needle.
It's among many other notorious magical items. Too many of them to ever even fully name.
Full.
Oh, pointy things are always useful.
Yes, maybe you can use it to sew our way out of the vault.
What, it's an axe, right? What was the weapon? Was it
It
an
was a
axe?
sword.
Was it a sword?
We didn't ask Hadley. Oh no!
Or I don't know if did he tell us?
He didn't say, so
Yeah, I think he just said the
he just
artifact.
referred to it by the name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was hoping we would just wash out with it, but
And where's the fun in that?
I've never been one for the flashy push.
At well, we
I
all
do
have
respect.
our plans, our ideas. Say that over the next 3 days, each evening we meet back here and discuss what we've gotten.
The bad
So that if
idea.
there's any adjustments that needs to be made.
Seems like a well enough meeting place.
All right. Well, I don't know about you boys, but I still need my beauty rest. I'm going to be going. She's
You
gonna.
enjoy your beauty rest. I'll be enjoying my few hours here, and I'll be headed out after that, likely.
She'll get up, and her flock of defenders are gonna go.
All right. As Percy departs, Irua and Arbor, have you departed as well, or are you departing as well?
I depart.
I will head back to the chapel, yeah.
So Krellin's left to his own devices. What'd you guys do with like the stuff in the room? Just leaving it behind? Somebody taking it? Does
figured with
Krellin
the
have a hold of it at this point?
I figured
Krellin's
with
gonna
the
take his cloak, leave it all on the table. He's gonna take his cloak and put it over, and his cloak is slowly gonna start looking like the table, so it's just all hidden.
I figured that if Krellin's gonna be the one sneaking in, the maps right now will be most useful to him.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's gonna find whatever soft bench or bed there is in here, and just get back and sleep for a few hours.
Probably the most comfortable seat inside this little hovel is the armchair that Hadley had been occupying all night.
That's better than 90% of the beds he's slept in. So let's
There you
go.
go. It's a nice padded armchair. It's quite a bit nicer than the chairs you guys were all seated in around the little table. Very out of place in this little hovel. There's this nice, comfy armchair with a Masterpiece Theater. And yes, I'm going to date myself with Masterpiece Theater as a reference, as the old man over here. Um,
I know what that is. It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay. I know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to sing the song, but. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, you all depart into the evening air. It's a nice, cool evening, not cold. Nice transition from our usual days in Simple Spear. It is high 60s at night. Not freezing, just nice, comfortable, cool breeze outside. No signs of weather, no signs of storms. Nice, crystal clear night as you all make your way back to your different destinations and take in the sight of the stars above, the soft breeze against the back of your neck, a little bit on the warm side on the breeze, and the semi-arid temperament of Darkheart. You got some grassy areas that usually give way to the wastes to the east. aside from where it's populated areas, most of Bavaria is not a very nice place to be. And there's a constant reminder of that as you listen to the sounds of howls and roars off in the night air as you each retire where you so choose. And unless anybody has anything in particular they want to do through the evening, we'll jump ahead to day one of planning. I guess I will circle back to Arbor. You had indicated maybe checking to see if anybody was still awake that you could possibly get information from at your location. And the place is dead by the time you get there. We're talking 2, 3 in the morning by the time you guys actually all retire from this place and head off on your way. So
It's fair. I'd probably just go to bed then.
all right, for the sake of keeping things kind of in an orderly fashion, why don't you guys give me all initiative rolls and we'll kind of just go in order as we take on any activities you guys have before you reconvene. Solid start, Krellin.
It's gonna be a great campaign.
All right, so Arbor, anything that you want to do before you cycle back to the safe house where you guys have agreed to meet up?
Can I just kind of gently follow where Rook goes?
Rook, did you go back to the same location as Arbor?
At the end of the
No,
night?
you went back to, yeah, you went to the chapel, right?
Yeah, I went to the chapel at the end of the night. But I think because we're starting the first day is, I think.
Oh, sorry. I thought
We're on the next day at this point.
Oh, we're on the next day.
I was gonna say,
sorry,
are you trailing me? Goodness.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if what we were doing the night before.
No. This is the next morning. You're
Okay.
the first person up for the next morning.
Okay. I've had Okay. Then first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and try and see what the situation is with the guards. Watch Palace. See if they're hiring new guards, like extra guards for party. Seeing what their stations are, what like numbers are. Get hold of schedules, then how they communicate with each other. If they are just yelling at each other across, or they have some kind of way to communicate over further distances across this state.
Okay.
Looking at the guards to start.
All right, let's get
if
what everybody's doing before we go into roles for any of that. So, Irua, with the 14, what are you doing other than checking over your back to see if you're being followed?
Yeah. Is there? So I know that we like listed out our connections, but the church itself, like the Chapel of the Iris, do they have any weight in the celebrations of the Aether Festival? Like, are they the ones who help to plan decorations for the square or anything like that?
Okay. So, general knowledge on the Aether Festival is the Aether Festival's less a festival and more a crafts fair. More than anything, it's a matter of basically artificers and mages putting on display the different things that they can do and their different capabilities to show what the Aether can do for people and the basically majesty of these creations. It kind of stops short of being like a full-on festival because those without don't quite. I mean, there's some that like revere out of it's unknown and different and they don't understand it, so therefore it's oohs and ahs like a child watching fireworks for the first time. But the rest of the people, it's more of a resentment towards why do you get these magical powers and I don't, so they kind of just steer clear of not giving a crap about the event. But because we're in a fairly high magic society, there is so many mages out there and artificers are becoming more and more common that the event holds on and continues to be a very prominent event throughout all of Winternacht. because there's still people that want to put on the show, even though nobody other than the people putting on the show want to attend it, type deal. So, as to the church's involvement, there wouldn't be a ton. They might take the opportunity to, like have somebody out there trying to bring people into the chapel, but not. They wouldn't be actively participating in anything with the actual fair.
Then he'll go ahead and focus on getting outfits made for the group, for the ball, except for Krellin, because Krellin specifically said he's going to do something a little bit different. But Arbor, Percy, and Irua. So he'll go ahead and find Cecile to go ahead and ask for help with that.
Okay. And I think, Percy, you are up next.
Yes. So, Percy is going to essentially kind of go around to, other entertainers and stuff. She is an artificer as well as a bard, so she kind of she knows a little bit about what's going on, and seeing if anyone that she is familiar with is supposed to be going to the manor that night, or even if she can maybe catch where the Lady Valorous is, and could put on an impromptu performance if she happens to track her down.
Okay. And Krellin, what's your plan on this fine morning of the 50th day of Heistman 295 AF?
Well, while the sun is still out, that's when he's gonna go to his contact for equipment, weapons, and stuff like that. See if she's got any special lockpicks or things that might catch his eye, might seem useful for this sort of job. See if maybe she has any ideas of what might be needed.
Okay.
He wouldn't spill too many details, just, really fancy, high-tech, possibly magical vault, that kind of stuff. And then, once it's dark, that's when he's going to go doing his recon.
Okay. So, for the first part of the morning, we got our different jobs we're doing here. So, Arbor, wanting to scout the guards. Give me a rough description of how you're going to go about that. Where are you going in general? Going out to the palace? Arbor?
All right, say that again.
How are you going about attempting to kind of scout out the guard situation?
Well, first thing he's going to be looking into is if they're hiring like mercenaries for the event itself.
Okay, but
if they
how
are
you looking to try and attempt to get that information? That's what I'm looking for. Is like, who are you going to try and find this out from? Are you going out to the palace itself to try and knock on the door of the barracks and try and get somebody to give you answers? Are you going and checking notice boards to see if they're looking to hire people? What are we doing?
Yeah, I think that would be the first. It would just be a first check the general notice boards. And if they aren't doing that, they aren't hiring new people, he's going to take a different avenue.
Okay. All right. Give me an investigation roll.
Wait, that's definitely the thing I'm good at. Okay.
It's a good roll. So,
yeah.
Through your investigation, you don't find any sign of any sort of, like flyers posting they're looking for guards for her personal palace guard or anything like that. There is some postings about looking for people to hire for the Dark Watch, which is the City Watch, but not specifically for her guards.
Okay.
Give me another investigation roll with advantage.
So if this doesn't work out, then I'm just gonna try and hit up my contacts. See if I can get the rest of the information up towards that way.
Gotta love when you roll with advantage and get a lower number than you rolled when it was just a straight roll.
No.
So, okay, I was potentially going to give you some additional information, but with a 12, you aren't going to get to the additional information. So that's what you acquire with, a limited amount of work of going and checking a couple places. We'll say that ticks off 1 point only to just do some limited check. So we'll go to Irua's first step of what Irua is attempting to do for outfits for the ball. Getting some pretty outfits for everybody. Or pretty cool outfits, whatever you want.
Absolutely outfits that would help us blend in. Percy's going to hate it. But if possible, also seeing if, like, in the similar way to how Cecile knows how, like, Irua's wings have to fit through things, almost making, like, compartments in the clothing, like pockets in various places. And he'll continually push that it's not for anything bad. It's just because pockets are awesome.
All right. Give me a deception roll.
Ooh.
Dirty 20, all right. With a dirty 20, give me an investigation roll with advantage. Or actually, no, just give me another deception roll with advantage. We'll stick in the same wheelhouse. All right. A little bit better than the last advantage roll. Okay. So with the 20, she really, no questions asked, trusts you as a member of the faith, that you can be trusted, that you just need these outfits. And with a 17, she specifically asks you, it's like, oh, are you going as the escort for the priestess? She had me make a dress last week and got this all taken care of. You must be a last-minute fill-in.
I'm trying to be, it's sometimes really hard, and sometimes I have difficulty with confidence in asking things, but hopefully with this outfit, I'll just kind of be able to walk in and take up the mantle.
I mean, I would assume that if you're going with her, just a matter of keeping up appearances. She does have her relationship with the paladin and whatnot, but I assume he just must not be available, that you're going in his place.
Yes.
Oh, splendid. So I'm sure you will make a fine addition to Priestess Laurel's, arm, escorting her into the ball. I've heard great things about the parties they throw out there. It's a very, very nice place. And yes, we'll make you up a very nice. And you said you have some friends as well that need outfits. We can definitely get that taken care of. Are these other clerics?
No, they are not. I'm trying to branch out a little more and find friends in the common folk.
Oh, that's splendid. Going in, bringing in some new folks that can see the glory of Sephora and accept her ways. Do you want any, sort of insignia or some subtle references to Sephora and the outfits I make? And do you have everybody's sizes?
I kind of eyeballed it, if I'm being completely honest, but as long as I go at least one size up from where I think everybody would be, we should be in the green, correct?
Oh dear boy. We can probably take things in. I mean, I don't have anything else to do. She gets a little bit frustrated with the, yeah, sure, we can just fix this, no problem.
If you have measuring tape, I can
for the
take
priestess,
measurements.
We can take care of these things, so.
I could absolutely take the measurements tonight. I'm meeting my friends.
That would be splendid. Yes, if you can just like make down some rough measurements and like what their color scheme is and what they'd like and just a general idea. And do you need masks as well for the masquerade portion of the ball or just outfits?
That would be wonderful if you could provide masks as well. That would be quite nice. I do
I
think
seem to
that
recall you used to have, a little mask you used to use. You're going to use that one?
yeah,
Bring it over time?
I'm probably not going to use that one. It is a children's toy, and I would rather use something a little bit more adult. But for my friends, I do think that it is important that we don't overshadow Priestess Laurel. So anything that just blends in with the rest of the crowd would be ideal.
Right. I suppose if you can get me measurements yet today, come back about midday tomorrow. I should have things, and we can do fittings and make sure that everything fits well. Um, don't be late, please.
Of
Be
course.
very much appreciated if we could keep that all pretty streamlined. Yeah, got a few other things to do around here. So,
I know you're busy. Thank you very much. The church appreciates your patronage.
oh, certainly. Keep me in the good prayers to the goddess. All right. I will put her name in chat and give me a perception roll there, Cedri. How much do you keep your ears open around the chapel?
It's okay. I think it's just a
Damn.
natural thing.
You would also know that her consort is this individual.
If you put Paladin Henio, I'm gonna... Oh, okay, cool. All right, we're good.
Sarkota of Strangeport. He's a paladin of Zephora that has took up residence at the chapel here as of late, and they've struck up a friendship.
Residence. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All right. Percy. Reaching out, contacting performers. How are you going about contacting performers? Are you being open about what you want to know? Is this, I guess we'll do it like the usual insight roll. It's a persuasion or deception, your call. So, how you're going
So what
about
you'd
trying to get
probably
information.
do is kind of wait at first until early after, like late, like mid-afternoon, and just kind of go and talk to people she already is, somewhat familiar with, and just asking like, oh, do you, just basically, do you know of anything? Kind of like asking them what their plans are over the festival is just like, are you going to be performing? Like, kind of put out a few different names other than just the palace, but like, are you performing for, the Lord and Lady of Downen, or are you performing for Lady Varese, or just kind of going to be like probably persuasion.
Okay.
So
Roll away.
ooh,
Damn.
Ooh.
23
Solid
total.
first rolls on each of these. So,
Mhm.
all right. Okay, with 23, go ahead and give me a persuasion roll with advantage for the
Ooh.
follow-up.
Okay. Great.
Be tough to beat that, but
Nice.
and pretty solid. So,
Nice.
oh, you got performance. Sorry.
Oh, performance.
So
Sorry.
we'll count the 17. We'll still roll
Okay.
with the 17. So,
So 22.
Look at 22. It's still a solid roll.
Okay. Sorry, they're right
it
next to each
happens.
other.
It happens more often than we'd like.
Normally
Yeah.
Perception
it's
roll for their
Cecil.
performance is pretty common.
And normally it's Teasel doing that.
Okay. So, in feeling out your fellow performers around town, most of the responses you get from people are that they're performing this little low level thing. They're playing taverns, they're playing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a couple of them have weddings that have been planned for during the festival that they're going to go play weddings, but nobody's really doing anything significant. You definitely don't get any answers
Mm-hmm.
directing you towards they're performing there.
Mm-hmm.
But with your follow up role, you do get somebody who volunteers. They've heard who's performing, and it's some new troupe. Nobody really knows much about them. Um, it's three individuals, all females. Z and the Gang, something like that was the name they heard.
All right.
They're supposed to be staying somewhere here in town, but they weren't able to give you the full, like, 411 on exactly where to find them.
All right. And then, kind of as a bit of a follow up, but this would be more to like um tavern owners would be also kind of asking if, you
Okay.
know, they
We'll come
know.
back and tap the
Okay.
tavern owners as the second round of going through things. So
Okay.
we'll jump over to Krellin here quick. Your weapons, equipment, general store, anything you want, all you can haul,
Yeah,
adventures.
more or
Out.
less specialty lockpicks. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and I'd just be like, I got this big job. Me and a couple of friends, first time group assignment. It's magical, possibly magical, very advanced lock. Got any ideas? Maybe get past traps or deal with those sort of things.
Okay. Um, Give me an investigation, persuasion, or deception, depending on which avenue you want to pursue. Are you looking for stuff on your own? Would be an investigation. A persuasion would be trying to convince them, but being open with them that you're attempting to use this for illicit means. And deception would be if you're going to try and hide what you're actually after.
Yeah, man, I come and get stuff from them all the time, like lockpicks. So, well, yeah, nah.
All right, persuasion with an 8. Um, basically just kicks you over to it. You know where the stuff is. Just go find it yourself. So give me a roll with investigation now, and it's disadvantage because you failed your first roll. Yeah, we are off to a great start, Jeff.
That's all +1 modifiers for that stuff. Hey, at least I got the 8.
8.
To 19.
Okay. The only thing you find is, if I can find it in my list here, do find a set of some pretty fancy looking thieves tools. Look a little bit more ornate and detailed, as to there's more mechanisms to them. Like there's more hooks and stuff that you think like you could do more complicated locks. And basically, this is a masterwork set of thieves tools, which has will help in aiding to try and pick more complex locks, like a combination lock. Um, and also comes with some other things that can help. You notice there's a little vial of acid inside the pack that could be used to try and melt through locks, and a few other lovely things. Some spectra crowbars that seem to be a little bit more reinforced. Um, a little eyeglass for being able to see a little bit more close up on trying to pick the locks,
I'll definitely be
and
picking that up.
vial of oil with an application dropper to try and like ease that lockpick in there, and some custom picks. But
Yeah, I'll be
Let's
grabbing
see.
that.
Give me one more persuasion with disadvantage here. Just a regular persuasion. I won't make you do disadvantage this time.
Oh, it's better, at
Better.
least.
It's better. $145 gold. Take it or leave it. It's the only one I got.
That's fair. That's fair. And I'm laying 145 gold.
All right. Okay. Coming back around to. You know what? Let's shake it up. Let's re-roll initiative for the second round of things here on day 1. Ooh boy, that's a lot of dice. Well, it improved a little bit, Krellin. You moved to
A little
second
bit.
best.
It's 3 higher.
All right, Percy, you are top of the order. You wanted to go check in with some tavern keeps, right? That what we're going to be doing?
She's gonna go talk to some tavern keeps and try to just, gently poke for any information about like where Lady Valeris might, where they might see her carriage come through a lot. Or if there's any, calls for auditions, last minute. Just anything of kind of about like what, she knows a lot of them probably have like their ways of keeping their eye on what's going on, just kind of poking and prodding at that idea of wanting to kind of get a step up.
All right. Well, we'll do the same thing we did the. Oh, no, let's just go ahead and roll these and then we'll cycle back. So I had you guys list them all because I wasn't sure if everybody would actually go do something or you guys would meet back up and just maybe some people were doing things. So, okay, so tavern keeps info. I'll say we'll stick in the same wheelhouse of persuasion, deception. Your call.
Gonna do persuasion.
14. Okay. All right. With a 14. None of the tavern keeps really have any idea where Lady Valoresque's stature, like moves about the town and her different whereabouts and whatnot. But there's a few that are able to provide you a little bit of information that she was hiring and looking for people. That she ended up hiring, which again they reference as Z in the gang.
Okay.
That group was hired like 3 days ago, and that immediately once that hiring was completed, that there's been no further calls for anybody.
All right. Does anyone? Oh, you're. Does anyone perchance mention where Z and the gang would be staying?
Not with the 14, no.
That's fair. Okay.
All right, who was next? Irua.
Irua's gonna go ahead and go back to the chapel, and he's gonna go ahead and seek an audience with Priestess Laurel. Try to have her off privately.
Okay. What are you hoping to accomplish?
To make her self-conscious about her choice of having Sir Coda be her guard, as it is kind of coming up that there's a possibility they might be having some sort of relationship, which obviously they would not. because she's a woman of the cloth, and as is he. But Irua recommends his services and two of his friends who are recent turns to the faith of Zephora in order to quiet any rumors and dispel any misgivings.
All right, before you commit to this, I will clarify that since you are not character-wise new convert to Zephora, but a new person to unfamiliar with the Zephora traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Zephora being the goddess of independence,
Mm-hmm.
there isn't a whole lot of restrictions from doing certain.
Oh no! She can
relationships
do whatever the hell
within the
she
Church of
wants.
Zephora, so
Well,
kind of
okay.
do whatever you want. Yeah.
Hmm.
Aurora, we'd be in a whole different camp. That's
Then Irua will go ahead and spin it in a way that this is just an opportunity for him to learn the ways from the priestess herself, and just wants
Okay.
to study underneath her.
all right. Are we persuading her to possibly believe you can learn something, or are we leaving her? This is not really your ultimate motive.
Full deception. Books do more than this chick's gonna do. 17.
17. Just put some good roll here. As long as you're not going to bear and a quick push shot, you're in good shape. All right. What's the roll of 17? Give me a secondary deception roll with advantage. That clutch rolling there. Dropping that 2 was huge. So, yeah. So with the 17 followed up by a 23 and 17, she doesn't 100% buy into the whole I'm going to leave my boyfriend at home so I can take, devout cleric and devoted member of the fold. But yeah, it's a party. She's not 100% convinced the front end, but she is sold with the 17 that she's going to see what she can do about getting your two friends in with her, or the three of you in. But with the 23 follow-up, you actually do get her to eventually decide that this is now... She basically reconsiders over the fact that, crap, now one of the clerics is going along. I can't have fun anymore, so I might as well just make this a job. So
Straight edge nights.
I can stay home. So she agrees to take you as her escort and to attempt. She can't promise that she can get the other two in, but she will attempt to get them invites as well.
Okay. That way we can mix it up a little bit, because if they all come from the same place, that might be a little bit fishy.
Okay, and Krellin.
For the second part of the day, he's actually going to go to his safe house connection. And just throughout casual conversation, he's like, I'm interested in a room or a few around the palace area. If you have anything over there. Some hole in the wall, hidey holes.
Okay.
Me and a few friends.
Okay, we're going specifically to your contact, so... Persuasion or deception, your call.
Yeah, it's the same. I'll go deception this time. Maybe have some luck there.
Nice.
You
That's
did.
better. That's a lot better.
19. All right. Give me a follow-up deception roll with advantage. Gosh, that nat
Still
20 is
decent.
dropping here. What's up with this? All right, 14 still decent. All right, with the 19, They're able to provide you with a list of some different places. There are 3 that are within fairly close distance. There's not a whole lot that's really close. That's kind of for security reasons, more likely than not. It's mostly parks and gardens that are along the actual shoreline. But we're able to find 3 that are in pretty close proximity. And with the 14, um, not able to get any additional information, but they're willing to give you a pretty good deal on being able to have it exclusively kept to yourself for as long as you need in exchange for 25 gold.
Yeah, I'll hand him the 25 gold.
All right. Arbor, what's your follow-up to finding that there's no hiring for guards?
My follow-up is going to be reaching out using my ear to the ground feature.
Okay.
Background. And basically just like going and being like, someone's cased this joint before, like, we're not the first ones to look at this palace, even if we are the first ones to actually pull off a job. Someone's looked at it before. Let me reach into my web of people who I've worked for, worked with, worked for me, and see if anyone knows anything.
Okay. What, in general, are you wanting to know? Things about the facility itself, things about, a particular aspect of the facility
I'm still
or
looking.
security?
I'm still looking for about the guards. How the guards work. Where they generally patrol. How they keep in contact with each other. And the guard changes are, perhaps that would be helpful information.
All right. Give me a persuasion or deception, your call.
Well, this is going to be painful, folks. Do intimidation?
If you want to intimidate your contact, yeah, you could.
So it doesn't matter. They're all going to be -1.
Oof.
Ooh,
It was so close.
it was so close to being a 0.
Mhm.
With a 12, don't find out a whole lot of details about like the guard structure or anything like that, but you do find out where most of the guards frequent when they're off shift. A tavern in the close vicinity to the Sea Watch Palace that you've heard of, you know where to find it, and that, yeah, it's a common hangout for the guards when they are off duty. All right, as we get past the early afternoon phase of the day, do you continue to do your own thing, or do you guys want to meet back up?
I still have some stuff I need to.
I mean, you can still go back out because you still have 2 more points to burn. But
Okay.
Whether you guys want to meet up to consult with each other before going about doing anything further.
Let's do a quick powwow.
Okay.
Well, after those 2 things, Krellin's gonna be hanging out until nighttime anyways. So he'll just be found laying in the big ol' armchair, just lounging about a bit.
Okay. Irua, you meeting
Iru's
back up?
coming. Iru's coming, especially if we can get some measurements. Have this prepped for tomorrow. Because Cecile had said bring them tomorrow midday.
Yes.
Them as individuals or just their measurements?
No, the measurements she wanted yet tonight. Bring them tomorrow for fitting.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
All right, so you guys reconvene back at the safe house. Find Krellin lounged out across the armchair in front of the fire that's mostly just ashes at this point. There's been no reason to stoke it or keep it going, as you end up with the honestly quite pleasant temperatures of the day. It's low 80s, pretty warm out. There's been a little bit of light rain throughout the afternoon, but nothing to alert to any sort of a storm or anything like that. Just nice warm temperatures with a little bit of nice cooling rain as you make your way about town and meet back up at the seems a little bit less homey without that fireplace roaring, but nobody really was eager to get any heat at this point. So as you meet back up, I will turn it over to you guys to have any basically table talk discussions you guys want to have. You can choose to role play it, or you guys can choose to just talk it out. It's entirely up to you.
Go ahead.
Iru pulls out a tape measure and just says, "I need measurements." Just gets the measurements of Arbor and Percy if they allow it.
She'll stand there, but she'll let you measure her.
You need me to take
A
the
nice long
armor off?
string that's around a spool that has little marks on it of some dye at like every so many inches.
I think it might be best to take off the armor, but you do not need to fully disrobe.
Lady isn't hiring any extra guards for the night. I'm going to try and check out one of their tavern the guards frequent later tonight, where I can find.
I am in the process of possibly getting both of you in as fellow escorts to the priestess of the Chapel of the Iris. I will admit that I am a priest over there, a cleric of Zephora, so I will be escorting her. And I guess we'll have to find a moment to get away from it all. But she is eager to partake in the festivities, so I don't find it too much of an issue. She really wants to partake in the festivities. I should really
You
clarify.
think you could give me a hold of a guard's outfit?
Oh, performer's outfit. Yes, I could ask Cecile to swap.
No,
Hey,
Wait, did you say guard? I heard
guard
bard.
outfit?
Yes, I
heard
can get you a
bard.
guard outfit.
I have a costumer friend. She might already have some lying around for you.
Right.
Or do you not want to owe me anything?
No. Whoever gets us through this.
Multiple outfit changes might be necessary for us to be able to make it through without arousing too much suspicion. Cecilia's making all of your outfits with pockets inside of them, so that means you should be able to store any extraneous materials that you need, including a change of clothes.
Krellin's gonna sit up. So you're a cleric?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's even better.
It's I have not done thievery for quite a while. I will admit the payment interested me, but at the end of the day, I pledge myself to Zephora, and I hope that you can understand the prior commitments that I have. Much as you want to take her in, and he'll gesture towards Arbor and Percy.
I mean, to be fair, kind of also want to take the two of you in. The bounties just aren't quite as high.
I'd slip your cuffs even if you were to catch me. By the way, Rook, and he's kind of flip out the lockpicks. How good are you with these?
Oh, I can use lockpicks for sure. I would say I'm pretty good. I don't know. From what I understand, the people who are the best do not talk of themselves so highly. They just naturally are. Do you have a trial lock?
Out of character, what's your modifier for these tools?
+6.
Ooh, I'm
Damn.
+7.
I think I have
I'm +5.
4. We all have
We have
We're all
4,
pretty
5,
decent
6,
with
7.
locks.
We were told we
Okay.
were doing a heist. Listen, I think we
Yeah.
all knew.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I don't know. I have any.
Everyone
practice
just pulls out
locks,
their
but
thieves' tools.
if you'd prefer, this is a pretty good set. If you think you may get more use out of them, you can use them, or I can hold on to them.
How does Krellin truly feel that way? Or are they just, is he
It's
just being
equipment for the
humble?
heist. It's
Okay.
equipment for the heist, so
Yeah. Okay. Then,
What's
yeah.
what's Krellin's modifier to thieves' tools?
+7.
I think you have the highest.
Mm-hmm.
He's a giver.
He doesn't always
He-
have to pit lots to get into places.
He booby trapped.
He can just
Lock.
poke through shadows.
I mean, neither does Arbor.
Okay, beating it down the door is a little bit different.
Yes, I will gladly take them. I think it might be easiest for me to unassumingly sneak things in, although large weaponry I can not do out of my conscience.
As long as it's not too large, my way in, I should be able to carry a few extra things. Like, your spear if you can't carry that. Maybe your hammer, Arbor. Not sure how heavy it is, but may be able to do it.
Arbor, is it like a really big hammer, or is it like small? I don't know if he can hear us. Conrad.
Yes.
How big is your hammer?
Um,
Fucking shit. I hate this.
Is it like a Thor's hammer?
it's bigger. It's not a two-handed hammer, but it is a pretty beefy looking whacker.
Does it have any symbology on it at all?
It looks like it may have a long time ago, but no, it doesn't.
Well, unless you can get in as a guard, I should have no issue getting your hammer and your spear in the way I enter, so it's an option as well.
Truthfully, I was also sort of thinking about just climbing up the cliffs if we needed that.
Bit old-fashioned, but I suppose it works.
I was actually going to ask you all who've been around the city a bit longer. Do you happen to know perhaps where a lot of the rich lords and ladies may spend their time, if not in their manors? Any council house, any theaters?
Would we? I mean, I've probably robbed a few of these people too, so.
Yeah, what are the sites of sin? Where's the vice
Yeah.
hotspots in the city?
All right, for Krellin, give me an investigation. And I will give you advantage on that.
Okay.
Irua, we're going to do perception with you. But no advantage, just a straight perception roll.
I hope your perception's good. Yes.
And Arbor, you can do a roll as well. It'd be a perception with disadvantage, though, because you're the most unfamiliar with this city. As to just what little amount of information you might have picked up somewhere. Gotta love that. Advantage
Mhm.
roll below the straight roll. Disadvantage roll almost hit the advantage rolls. Ah, nice. Alright, yeah, Krellin, Arbor, no freaking clue where those snobs hang out when they're not in their castles, so. Irua, you know the few that are what would be termed as good people. Do spend a decent amount of time visiting the temples around town. The Sephora one, the Chapel of the Eye, or Iris, is by far the most prominent. But there are temples to Infernus, Briora, around the city as well that are pretty nicer ones. That it's a good chance you might be able to catch somebody there. Specifically, if there's a follow up as to Valoresque, no one really gets the vibe that she's a good person or would give a crap about the gods. So
Just wait for some good old divine intervention and she can be struck by lightning.
I was
new
also
side quest: save her
going,
and bring her to the church.
was also going to ask Krellin. There is apparently some performers new to Darkheart that have been hired for the event. She and the gang. Could
Alright.
you perhaps incapacitate one or two of them? So that I have an idea of using what us performers call word of mouth to maybe get an audition with her. But I need the space to be opened.
Do you know where they're at?
I can find out. They're in the city. But I'm sure that if with your skills you could also find them out as well.
I can keep an eye out for them in the near out, and once we find them, I can definitely do that for you.
Appreciate it.
I like the confidence.
You said that you want to dispatch 2 of the individuals. Does that mean that, Arbor, you will be needing a bard outfit?
Oh, no way.
Oh, well, I'm
April
not
Fool.
going to join them. No, no. I'm going to go in as myself.
Irua doesn't fully understand, but at this point trusts Percy enough.
Irua. I need to get my birds in, first of all. And I have some spells that can make me look like somebody else. But first, I need to get in there. And also, it might be a good time for some powerful people to notice my skills.
You are using this as a literal audition of sorts amongst the nobles of Darkheart?
I mean, a little extra coin here and there doesn't ever hurt. I'm sure we all can understand that one.
A little extra coin does not hurt, but at the risk of exposing all of the rest of us, it very much would. The pretense by which I am getting your measurements is because there is a possibility that you will be brought in as additional escorts. So it does mean that you will need to have the persona of somebody who is a recent addition to the Church of Sephora.
Okay,
Oh, good
right?
thing she's an actor.
Oh, God.
There's also the masquerade masks. I asked my contact to specifically make outfits that would not bring attention to us, as we need to blend in, at least in the beginning.
Oh, God. Well, we'll see what it comes to.
eventualities are important to plan for.
Agreed.
Well, I plan on touching the palace tonight. What do you have planned for the rest of the day?
Find out where this G and the gang are staying.
I'm gonna try and keep following up on these guards. Need something more on this amulet soon.
Well, while I'm doing my scouting at the palace tonight, perhaps I'll see her.
Right.
I may even get to the roof tonight, I'm not sure.
All right. As you all decide where you're heading to next, did Irua say where he was going?
Irua's just going to go turn in the measurements, so.
Okay. All right. Give me initiative rolls again. Do the second half of the day here quick. Krellin, are you going back down to the bottom again?
Yeah.
Percy, you got to beat that 10.
Wait. Why is it not? Okay.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There we go. I rolled it like twice before and it just didn't.
Oh, because it has to be in the box. It's real picky about that.
Okay.
All right. Irua, you're the top of the list. You're just turning in the measurements.
Turning in the measurements, and then honestly going to retreat for the day. So I'll forfeit the last two to go towards
the
the
last
pool.
two?
Yeah. I'll bank them.
Okay. All right. And Percy.
So I did ask everyone else if they knew about any of like performance halls, orchestras. Would Percy happen to also know about any?
Give me a performance check.
Okay.
How good are you?
Why is this being... Oh, 16. Okay. Wait, nope.
Nope, that's your initiative roll.
19.
All right, 19. I would say you probably are fairly assured you know where pretty much every place is that you can play it now.
Alright. So she is going to go to whatever is like the kind of most upper class, like opera house, or just wherever she knows a lot of rich people go and hang out. And she is going to kind of in the square in the area do a small performance herself as it's letting out.
Okay.
And this is, I'll say this is kind of to the goal to kind of get them to maybe start talking. So if maybe like going ahead and like putting that earworm among the rich people and the elite. So even if like the lady isn't there herself, like, you know, other friends might be chatting about it.
Okay. Give me a performance check, and we'll give you advantage. I'm
Ooh,
feeling
yay.
generous.
Ooh, 25.
Okay, give me a straight performance check, too.
Okay.
Okay.
18.
Okay, solid. All right, with the 18, you give a not your best performance in town, but pretty solid, all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Above average, above what most people would put on. And
Okay.
catch the attention of quite a few individuals, and you do pick up that there's a decent amount of chatter going on amongst folks of the particular class that you were attempting to influence.
Mm-hmm.
A few individuals. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Whew. 2 to an 18.
Yes.
All right, with an 21 total.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a d12.
D12.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Just straight d12 from the bottom.
Yeah.
So 5. In particular, catch a couple, human and a human male and an elf female. That the elf female just seems particularly enraptured with your performance, just listening to every word as you go through, telling your story in. Are we in poetry form, or are we just in storytelling mode?
She would be kind of doing a story and trying to incorporate her birds as much as like she can throughout. It's like
Okay.
they are artifice birds, and if this is a, you know, festival about like creation and that type of stuff, she'd want to put as much like focus in them, kind of like using them as like, you know, if it's a dramatic moment, they kind of flutter up around and just
Your moving
and she's
diorama
even going to
visual aids.
send it's a so a long-tailed tit. It's like a little like white-chested, little white head, black and brown bird, long um tail with like orange eyeliner, and she's gonna send that little one to kind of nest on the elven woman's shoulder for a second during one of the dramatic moments.
It's simply amazing. Honey, did you see that? It's just, we have to tell the lady about this. This would be a perfect performer for the ball the other night. I mean, she's got the birds and they do things, and oh my gosh, they're not even real birds. It's just perfect fitting for the Aether Festival. Don't you think, honey? You know, I think she'd listen to you. I mean, you are the treasurer and all. You manage the purse for the city. I think this would just be a great opportunity. Maybe earn some goodwill with her. Maybe get that promotion you've been looking after. Um, just have to go. Like pass this along. We gotta get her name and then pass it along and find out where she's staying so they can get her lined up. I'm sure the lady would be just enthralled by her performance and would just be, it's to die for. So, no, all right, all right, all right. Human male approached.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, miss. My wife here was particularly fond of your performance and asked that I ask your name.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Percy Cassius.
Right, and are you residing here in town? I might be able to line you up with a job. I can't make any promises, but I, have some connections and seem to be of a bit import here in Darkheart.
Oh, my lord, it's such an honor. Any event you have, I would be happy to attend and entertain. It's gonna give him like the place she's staying and give a very like deep and proper bow, showing like some deference. Deference.
All right, very well. Knight's Rose Tavern. All right. Did you get that, honey? Yes. We'll reach out to our mutual acquaintance and see if we can't get this lined up. I will do what I can. Happy wife, happy life. So, good day to you.
A wonderful evening to you, Lord.
All right. Who was next on the arbor?
I think Arbor is going to go to the tavern that was mentioned,
Okay.
and eavesdrop.
Okay.
But he's going to kind of try to spot the group, a larger group of guards that's there off shift, and just sort of sit around and listen to what's going on.
All right. Give me a perception. And this is just this will be a sight-based perception. And then we'll follow
Sight-based?
Yeah, there'll be a hearing-based one too, but this the sight-based one for you to try and identify which guards are which. 13. Okay. Got it narrowed down to 2 groups, and you're able to find a place that you can sit that's in rough proximity to the 2. That I might be kind of hard to hear for somebody without really good ears, but give me a perception that is a hearing-based one, which I believe you have advantage on.
That's what I was trying to go for.
Yep. All right,
Nice.
23. Okay. Give me another one with advantage.
23.
23. All right. You are able to determine which group is which. The one actually ends up being they're all just stonemasons that weren't guards at all. You're not sure why the heck you thought they might be guards. A little bit misled there, but you're able to focus your hearing more so on the other group. There's just 3 of them, not a large contingent. Let's see. Roll me 3d10.
Okay, sure.
Pick which guards are sleeping here. So. Okay, 7, 3, 10. All right, so there's a male Fireheart, a male human, and another male human that are sitting at this table. The last male human is a bit too deep into his cups and is kind of passed out at the table. The other 2 are just carrying on with their conversation, and with your 23 follow-up, you're able to ascertain that these are the guards in question and that you're looking for, as well as picking up on a few inroads that might help you start a conversation with them. Yeah, I mean, I was down in the vault chambers last week, and working down there. God, it's so damn boring when you're walking up and down the hallways, and there's nothing to look at except the damn stone walls. But I mean, she says we got to patrol. I mean, who would be dumb enough to try and break in there? It's like, oh, yeah, I know. I don't think it probably happened, but yeah, I know. But I gotta do the patrol, and then it's like, and then one of you all must have spit your tobacco crap all over the ground because I stepped in some shit on the ground. Oh man, probably Joseph here goes and he grabs him by the back of the hair, picks his head up a little bit. He doesn't respond, drops it back on the table with a smack. Yeah, it's probably Joseph. Damn dirty fools. But yeah, I mean, probably gonna. Boss finds out he's been doing that shit down there. I mean, captain's not gonna let him stay working there. Probably gonna have to find a replacement. Yeah, I suppose that probably happened.
Sorry, out of character, DM, am I going to have an opportunity to approach them right now?
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
What do you want? I mean, what? It's a private table. See, we're having a meeting here.
My apologies. I just couldn't. Happened over here. I mean, you're might be getting rid of this fella, and I'm to be looking for some work.
Joseph here and picks him up by the hair again. He's like, nah, he's good. He's doing just fine. I mean, it's a little bit too much drink, but no. I mean, ain't looking to hire. I mean, what makes you think you got qualifications to come work for the lady?
Do I get the sense that this is the kind of person that if I like break their nose, it's going to earn them my respect and not piss them off?
Give me an insight check. Never know until you try.
I'm going to is it the Fireheart or the human that's talking?
This has been the human. The Fireheart's the one that's kind of been a little bit
Oh, the Fireheart's
quieter.
okay.
Then it's the other human that's passed out. So
Right, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can yeah, I'm gonna see if I can like grab the human and put them in like an arm lock.
okay. Give me an athletics or acrobatics check. And we're heading towards combat.
Yeah, my rolls.
Second, I did not have NPC blocks. Hold up, I didn't think I need them. He's clearly had a good amount to drink, and being in a seated position at the table as you're walking up to him, you basically get to take advantage of the situation and just like quickly put him in this lock. He's like, whoa, hey, don't need to be aggressive here. I mean, we're just talking.
Think that passed out fool could do this?
I don't make the decisions. I mean, that's the captain. I mean, you'd have to talk to her, but I mean, shit, if you're gonna, can you let go of me?
No, yeah. Like when he starts going, whoa, yeah, I like
right, I mean,
when he taps out, I stop basically.
I suppose I could put your name in. I don't know if they're gonna be looking to hire somebody this close to, the ball and all that. But I suppose if they are, then, I mean, he bested me. I mean, had some advantages there. I mean, a regular day rematch, I could kick your ass. But right now, okay, you beat me, fine. You could probably beat my friend over here, Gustav. I mean, he ain't got nothing. Thanks. But
So there's a
I
ball
put your
going
name
on?
in Captain Seema. Hey, you don't know about the ball? I mean, yeah, suppose you aren't important enough to know about the ball. All of us folks, that are kind of puffs the lapels a little bit. It's important folks. We know all about the ball. I mean, it's kind of like a big deal around here, and we're going to be working the, security, making sure that none of you, those rough and tumble bad folks get in there and do anything wrong to the lady or any of her nice guests. But do you really think you should be talking about all this? I mean, seriously? Fremont, come on, shut your freaking hole. Shut up! Yeah, I mean, can you write? Do you know how to write?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. If you put your name... I think I got it. Pulls out, like, a crumpled up scrap of paper out of his pocket and just kind of, like, starts to try and smooth it out to, like, very little effect. You just, like, put your contact information on here, like, put your name, where you're staying. Yeah, I mean, just again reaches in another pocket and pulls out just a little piece of charcoal to write with. The piece of paper, give me we'll just say it. it's like butcher paper. It's like he had a sandwich in this thing. There's still some crumbs on it, and there's a little bit of mustard up in the corner. Uh, yeah, just you put your information down on here, and I mean, I'll take it to the captain. I make no promises, but you can hold up with this, skill set. I might be able to get you a job.
I'm good at I am good at what I do. I'll write down Phoenix Rest where I'm staying,
Yep.
and I'm gonna put down my name as Joffrey. If they come asking for me.
Nobody wants to find Joffrey.
Yeah, Jeffries are much better.
All right, Joffrey. Okay, Joffrey. Phoenix Rest. Oh, it's a little bit of lowbrow over there. I mean, that kind of shady. I mean, you ain't doing shady shit.
I need somewhere cheap to stay, and I need a job.
All right. I can't fault the guy for needing to feed. All right. Yeah. I mean, you come back here tomorrow. I'll see if I can't get you a audience.
I appreciate it. Give like a salute. Salute.
All right. Krellin, bringing in that fourth position. What you got? What you got
Yeah.
cooking? As we hit the early evening portion, starting to get to dusk, that little twilight, poor lighting time of day.
So early evening, he would make his way over towards the palace area, and obviously, while the sun is still up and there's still some light, he would try to stick to more the shady areas. But he would try to go around and find the most narrow points. And if there's anything within 60 feet, like gap less than 60 feet, he'll take note of those.
Okay, say that again. What are you looking for? A gap of 60 feet between what?
So, going across the moat area to the little island that the palace is on.
Oh, okay.
So, pretty much
Uh,
any point from land to land that's 60 feet or under, he's going to take note of.
So there's not a lot. So, like, looking at the map that you have, that's just kind of within the confines of what was drawn on there. So the stuff that's over where the bridge is, and the stuff down there at the bottom, across from like where it says Grand Ballroom, those are the only land masses that are remotely close to the island, because the rest of it opens up out into the Sea of Kings.
Gotcha.
Looking out to the south, so north is the top of the map. So looking out the south side of the palace itself
So it'd
is
be like this
full on
point.
ocean there.
So it'd be
That
that
would be your
point
shortest point,
and this point,
basically.
pretty much.
Yeah. And there is that little tiny island that's in the middle there that cuts that in half, so it'd actually be about a 10-foot jump, but the biggest part is you got a 15 feet up to the next location. So
Well, as long as it's dim light or darkness, as long as it's in 60 feet and I can see it, I can just teleport there.
okay.
So
Yeah,
that's my way
this
in.
big open area here, this arrow is kind of crossing over, is actually forested, with some palms and various bushes and undergrowth, and so there's a good amount of shade as you get to the sun setting off in the west is casting basically a shadow across this whole side of the island, uh, right where you're going. So yeah, you'd
Yeah,
be
so I'll kind
easily
of
able
just
to get
wander
across.
around as long as the sun is still up, and then once it's like dark, I'll probably just walk around the city for a few hours until it's like dark, like really dark into the night, probably around midnight-ish, and then I'd come back and see if I can actually get over to the island and see if I can see any more details that we might deem important.
All right, in getting over to the island, give me a stealth check with advantage. And also give you a perception check. So
Nice.
Dirty 20. All right.
And perception. Oof.
Okay. You're focused on making sure that you got some darkness, but that darkness also is limiting you to basically your dark vision range of being able to see anything. So you don't really pick up on there being any sort of a watch that's out here on this part of the island. You're able to get across with your teleportation over into the forested area on the other side, with no sight of any sort of guards. And as you make your way through the forest, that maintains the same situation. As you get to the edge, though, give me just a straight stealth roll and give me a perception roll.
I do have advantage on my stealth rolls with my cloak.
Okay.
That's the one item I picked up.
Yep.
It was between that and the boots, and I was like, I'll get more use out of the cloak. Ooh. And another perception?
Yep.
Alright.
Well, we're moving
Better.
up. Moving up. All right. From the edge of the forest as you start to make your way across. So, down here in this rough region, there's a little bit of a lower area that you'd think if you were standing in, probably couldn't, like people on the other side across the little channel here couldn't see you, and also people at the barracks would be a little bit hard pressed to see you unless they're up on top. It's a nice little secluded position, with the exception of anybody looking out the windows that you can spot on the grand ballroom. So looking at your map, I haven't given you too much description of what those things on the map represent. So everything that's gray are windows on the building, anything that's black are doors, and then the kind of reddish gray is stairwells. And so you're able to kind of clock those two windows there, as well as the four windows up above that are near the hallway with the gardens in between. That front part is, if you compare it with the rest of the maps, the front part of the building where the gardens are and stuff, that is the only floor. There isn't a floor above on that section. The second story is only on the back section where the grand ballroom is, and then the third story is even a little bit smaller up above it.
So what is the palace built out of? Like, is it like stone blocks, or
Ornamental stone.
does it seem like there's any obvious like handholds or anything?
I mean, there's separation in there, so being a little bit generous with the 12 to give you handholds. You can't necessarily spot them, but you presume that there would probably be a way to try and climb up the side. It would probably be a pretty difficult climb because it is not your just ordinary stone block. It is been smoothed over to make fine, nice, continuous edges. Obviously, this isn't like giant stone slabs that would have taken Herculean efforts to get over there, but this is a city that still uses slavery, so would not be surprising to be building Pharaoh's pyramids over here. Feats of engineering that don't care if people die in the process type stuff. So
Yeah, so I'll try to just take notes of the windows and all that I see and how the building's actually laid out. And
with your 12, the windows look like they could be entered through. They're not like solid glass or anything like that. They are open with some shutters over them. Some are a little bit more just open air with some, well, basically equivalent like wicker, like crosshatch of reeds or something similar.
yeah, so I'll just take note of that kind of stuff in the lower area there as being a possible area to just lay low and move about from, and I'll make my way back to the hideout.
Okay. All right. Guys, return back. We'll do.
We have a
Does
fourth.
anybody have anything else for the fourth? You already said you checked out. You're holding those points. Percy, you got something else you want to do this evening?
Yes, she has one more thing.
Okay.
She's going to, as she had told Krillin earlier, try to see if she can ask around just taverns and stuff to see if anyone has heard of where the G and the gang have performed recently, or where they've been.
Okay. Why don't anybody who still has something they're doing this evening give me an initiative roll? Agent's gonna take a nap over there. Early to bed, early to
I'm functionally what the other thing I'm doing tonight is if Percy tells me where Z and the gang are staying, I'm going to go disband Z and the gang. This is my last action for the night.
Okay. Alright. Krellin, you got anything else?
No, that about covers it unless there's more information about Z.
Okay, so you two are holding to see if you get anything from Percy on her last point. So we'll do Percy. So you're specifically looking for where Z are staying or performing, correct?
Yes.
You can choose to do that through one of three ways.
Okay.
You can make an investigation to see if you can't track down some just general information on where they might be, or you could do persuasion or deception to attempt to convince somebody to find somebody that can tell you where they're at.
She would do persuasion, is just kind of asking other people, saying what they might have to say.
Okay. So you kind of had started to head in this direction a little bit earlier as to trying to search things out, and at this point in time in the evening, it's not that you don't find anything out. There is nobody's even heard of these people before
Okay.
getting this job. They are outsiders of some sort, and beyond that, you don't find anybody that knows where they're staying, which is a little bit suspect for all of your contacts with the tavern keeps, that you would have thought somebody would have known something, which might suggest that they are not staying at a tavern anywhere.
Okay. Or they don't frequent the taverns, at least.
Yeah, nobody in any of your circles seems to know anything about these people or where they're at, other than the word on the street is they're the ones playing the masquerade ball.
All right. With that, she's just gonna go back to her room and go to sleep.
Okay, do you guys meet back up at all before the night closes?
Is it? Okay.
It is.
Okay, so you guys gather back together to just dispense with the... Percy didn't find out any additional information, so Arbor and Krellin are not running back out for anything, but we'll let you guys... whatever interaction you have, and then that'll be where we'll stop for the night, is after completing day one's activities.
Okay.
So at this point, would I have done my up close palace recon, or would that have been after?
So your palace recon was considered, that was the at this point in time you would have completed your palace recon. Because you basically stalled out that first half.
If I don't hear anything back from see, there's one more thing I'll do when I get back to the tavern. After we meet up.
Okay.
She'll give them the information that she was able to figure out, is that I don't think they're not staying in any of the inns or taverns, not frequenting them either.
Is that normal for performers?
No, it's quite strange, actually. They should... I mean, it's...
Right. Hear me out. Their competition. Not and personally, not just your performing competition. They're Thieves also trying to get into the palace.
Oh, no, that one. I understand where you're coming from, but there is a bit of a respect we have for each other, but I can see whereas if they're not as, what's the word? If they're not as well known, then I can see people wanting to scope them out and get whatever gossip they can. But that still leaves us as not knowing where they are. Not impossible. If they have their own connections with nobility as well. Perhaps. But I did manage to get a someone willing to put in a good word for me with the lady.
That would be good. I managed to maybe score an interview for a position on the guard staff.
Well, I got up close and personal with the palace this evening.
You managed to get the lady's itinerary.
I did not see the lady, unfortunately. Getting up the building might be a little trickier, but I think I might be able to manage that. Getting up to the palace, no problem at all. Needs a little show on the map. I can cross over right here into these trees, hide as long as I need to. I can probably get through one of these windows if I can't get up onto the roof and get through one of those. Still depends what time we decide to do all this. They seem like they can be opened. Some have shutters on them. Garden ones may be the easiest. And as for guards, they didn't seem to be any around the forest area. Also, just here to the right of where the ballroom is, there's a lower area. They wouldn't be able to see you if you're down there anyways.
Mhm.
All right. Any further discussions as you guys reconvene before you split back up to get to wherever you're staying for the night? All right. As you split up, Krellin, you staying at the safe house again? Okay. So the rest of you make your way out into the city and head back to your different dwelling spaces. Give me perception rolls. The three of you.
Slight perception.
Yes, but you're going to negate out your advantage with your disadvantage because you're in the dark. So it's going to be a straight roll either way.
It's everybody except for Krellin.
Correct. Like that 14, 15, 16 people.
Yeah.
All right. Percy, go about your trip back. Little bit of discomfort as to, you've kind of put yourself out there a little bit over the course of the day, trying to find some information, a little bit of uneasiness as to, what potential blowback could there be? Just, you're smart. you know these things. You know that there's risks with everything you do, but they were calculated risks.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, other than that whole spider sense is tingling, but you don't know where it really goes, you walk back without incident. But Arbor and Irua, as you're making your way back, each making your own way back to your locations, it seems more distinct than what Percy's experiencing. You have just a sense of eyes on you as you move through the town. Somebody's watching you, somebody's taking an interest in you. But anytime you look out, there's nobody there. It's quiet. You hit the bigger parts of the city and it could be anybody. There's people in the streets moving about, really just can't place it, but you know, are with certainty, you know there has to be somebody watching you. Can't just be paranoia. Somebody's got their eyes on you. And we'll stop there for tonight. We'll pick up with Arbor. Sorry, I wanted to call you Salinas. With Arbor's last little thing he's going to do once he's back at the tavern, and then pick up with day 2, and hopefully move through day 2 and day 3, the first half of next session, so we can get on to the heist proper.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that will be where we'll stop things for the session tonight. Thanks to all of you in chat and for viewing tonight. It's been awesome having all this engagement. It's been a fun session all around. We thank you for taking some time out of your day to come watch us and have fun with us. So hopefully you come back next time. We'll continue on the story and start to build towards having a concrete plan on how we're going to get the Sealanodal out of Valoresque's vault. And that will conclude things for the video on demand people, as we'll close out that part for tonight. So thanks for watching, and thanks for watching on demand. If you weren't able to join us in person, come join us in person, because or not in person, come join us live. If you want to join us in person, I'm not giving out my address, but that'd be cool too.